everyone. I'm Emily Brown, the key contributor and founder of thecareerpioneer.com. Thanks for joining me today. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a few weeks ago actually, I got a phone call from one of my good friends, and she told me that she was having a really tough time on her job, to the point where she actually had to resign from her position in a job that she was truly enjoying. She felt like she had a lot of growth ahead of her. However, the stress on the job was just getting to be too much. In fact, there were some key relationships that just weren't working out. People were butting heads, and she just felt if she stayed in that position for any longer, the stress alone would get to her and send her into a spiral. And I certainly know what that feels like. I mean, I've been there a couple of times in my career in the past. And, when you're at a place of real deep discouragement on your job, you just kind of feel like you're in a black hole and you don't know how to get out of it. And sometimes, for some people, they need to seek professional help to actually climb out of that hole. Other people, we can kind of pull it together and move on. And so that's why I wanted to come to you, because I wanted to talk about a little bit of those different strategies that we can use to pull ourselves up out of the pit of discouragement when we face it in our career, when we face it in pursuing our dreams, because it is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to hit us, at any moment in time. And so the key, though, is to learn how to fight against it. Now, I have to say that I am not a mental health specialist. I don't have a degree in any of this, so I'm talking merely from experience here and from what I've read. I do a lot of research, so just take that into account as I share these tips with you. But they've worked for me, and I know that they've worked for so many other people, and so I felt really strongly about sharing it with you all, hoping that it helps you as well. And maybe you're not facing discouragement right now. Maybe you're in a really good place in your career or in starting your business, or maybe you're in college right now, and that's a great thing. And I hope that it stays that way. But for some of you, and for you who are watching who aren't there, if you're facing those periods in your career where you're just not sure of, what's happening and how to deal with those emotions, and hopefully the following tips will, give you the little boost that you need. Fighting discouragement, one of the key things is to talk about it, to pull someone aside, or call up a friend or even a colleague, or even a human resources specialist at your job, and let them know what's going on and what you're feeling. I found that to be very, very helpful and effective in my own life. As I was mentioning earlier, just this past week, I was feeling some discouragement. And, it kind of didn't hit me that I was discouraged until I actually did start to talk about it. But before, leading up to the discouragement, I felt like, man, I'm putting in so much work. I'm doing all of these things, trying to get ahead in my career, really just trying to, kind of make a place for myself in this big world. And I didn't feel as if I was getting the kind of results that I was hoping to get in the amount of time that I wanted to get it in. And I'm sure you can relate to that. You just feel like your wheels are just turning and turning and turning, and nothing seems to be moving, So, but it wasn't until I started to talk about it, and actually my husband was there, and he asked me how I was doing, and, thankfully he was there, and I kind of thought about that moment when I was discouraged, and I was very honest and open with him about my discouragement, and almost immediately kind of the weight lifted. And I don't know if you're a person of faith. I know prayer also works for me as well, just talking about it and praying about it and meditating on, the positive things actually helps me get through those discouraging moments. And the second thing was just believing in yourself, believing that success is, quite possibly right around the corner. The one thing that I told my friend who was going through a hard time at her job was, you got to keep your head up, because the thing is, usually you hit your toughest moments in your career, in your life, when something very, very good is going to come around the corner. Usually, not all the time, but a lot of cases I've seen this happen where you feel like there's nowhere to turn and the road ahead is just a dead end, and then you push through, you persevere, you keep the faith, and then wow, something amazing happens in your life. And there it is. And the very last piece of advice that I'll give you really quickly before I let you go is to stop thinking so much. I've said it before here on the Career Pioneer, but I really do suffer from analysis paralysis. I think so much about the processes that go into what it is that I'm trying to do or achieve in my career, and I get so bogged down by all the details that I just stop doing everything. I don't even move forward because I'm thinking so much. When I first started this blog almost 2 years ago, there were so many things that were going on in my mind as to why I shouldn't launch this blog. I didn't have enough expertise in the field. Maybe people don't want to read what I have to say and appreciate my opinion. Whatever, all these non-essentials. Really, it was about me stepping out on faith, and it was about learning as you go. And sometimes we just have to step out there and put in a little bit of work, get a few results from that, and then start investing in more time until you get to the place that you want to go. And that really is what life is all about. Life is really a journey, and it's about enjoying the journey. I know sometimes we get so caught up at the end result, at the end of the race, but sometimes it's just good to sit back, step back, and take a look at where you are. Because if you really assess with what you've done in your life, I bet you can see how much you've already accomplished. You've already come so far. And so, even in developing this video, I was a little hesitant to do it because I was like, man, I don't have any professional camera set up and lighting and all that stuff and makeup artist and hairstylist and everything. All these things that go through your mind, I tell you, it's kind of silly when you think about it. But when you're passionate about something, when you have a message to share, just like I wanted to share this message with you guys, it goes a long way. And so whatever you do in life, whatever you do in your career, make sure that you're passionate about it. I hope these tips were really helpful for you. I hope that they help you combat the discouragement that might appear in your life. Until then, I wish you much success and much health and great happiness and peace in your life. Thanks so much for listening and watching, and I'll talk to you soon.